Hi everyone and welcome to this week's video. So this week I got myself a faulty 2DS XL. So these normally go for silly money at the moment on eBay, but I managed to put an offer in for this one and got it for £50, which, as stupid as it sounds, is pretty cheap for one of these. So overall it's not in the worst condition. I have seen worse. When you press the power button, the blue light comes on and then goes straight off. And there's damage to the corner, so this normally means that there's damage to the ribbon cable. This is why it turns on and off. So a quick look on the back and you can see it's got no screws. So just need to get my lipper and then gently prise it apart. And as I take it back off, I can see that no connections have been made, so nice and easy to take apart. So initial looks, it doesn't look too bad condition. The screen ribbon cable in the corner I was expecting to be damaged actually looks okay. And I can't see any other damage either. Except for this shoulder button which is hanging on, so that's going to need repairing if I can get it turning on. So I had a little think and remembered in the past, a long time ago, I think it was a faulty 2DS that wasn't turning on. It had custom firmware installed, so it needed an SD card to be able to boot. So what I decided to do is take the SD card out of my own custom firmware 2DS XL and I'm going to pop in this. So press the button and it just goes straight off. But then obviously realised, let's open it, and then I opened it to press the button and the light stays on, which is always a good sign. So we'll just give it a couple of seconds and there you have it, it's starting up. As simple as that, basically fixed. So someone's had this with custom firmware, removed the SD card, and then whoever got it after that thought it was automatically faulty. So let's get on to the repair now, as I think the main issue's been fixed. The damage to the shoulder button. So I need to be scraping around the edges. I need to expose a little bit of the copper that we can do some soldering to. So let's get the motherboard out first. Battery stuck down with tape, this just prizes up. It's also nice that I haven't got a spongy battery for a change, so that won't need replacing. Then just take a couple of screws out. Release all the ribbon cables. And then gently lift the motherboard out once complete. So the button with all my messing finally came off, so it doesn't matter anyway. It's in okay condition, so I'm just using my soldering iron to remove the old pads from the side of it. And now I'm just going to use a sharp knife and I'm going to scrape away around the mounting legs just to get some exposed copper we're going to solder to. Give it a clean and then add a little bit of flux. And then we just add more solder to the bottom and then to this one pin, which will be the middle pin getting soldered to. Another quick clean. I'm going to create new mounts by using copper tape on the side legs. So we just need to get a knife and then cut a little section off, a little piece a couple of millimeters in size. I also scraped a little bit more excess around where the legs are going to join, just to make it a little bit more secure, and then use my tweezers to position it into place. Once happy, add a little bit of flux and then soldering iron with plenty of solder on, and then the solder will stick to the copper tape and also to the pads that we've been scraping on the board. And this is going to be the new basis for holding down the button when we attach it. And then we need to do the same on the other side. Copper tape cut, a little bit of flux and a little bit of solder. Then we just line the button up, make sure it's sitting nice and flush. Again, add a little bit of flux. Push down on the button and then add plenty of solder onto the side, making sure that it's nice and secure. Do that on both sides and then the button won't be going anywhere. Then I get 0.1mm enamel wire and just need to run a little piece to this middle pin. Then we twist it round and then we just need to solder it to this top pad here. And then cut the excess away with a knife. And then another clean of isopropyl. And the button press is nice and it's all nice and secure. We just need to make one more attachment. So on this leg here, we just add a little bit of solder, and I'm quite lucky because there's a little tiny bit of the old solder pad just to the bottom of this leg. So I'm just attaching the two. And it takes a little bit of work, but as you can see, I've made a little nice connection. Give it a clean. So now two connections are made. That's all it's needed. So I thought I was done. And then as I was just giving the board a quick check, I didn't even notice on the other side. The other shoulder button was completely missing, so we need to do the same again. So scrape excess around the outside of the mounting legs. You want to have a decent amount so that it's going to be nice and secure. Give it another quick clean of isopropyl. Then we just tin it. So we add a little bit of flux, we'll add a little bit of solder just to get it prepped. Keep cleaning as we go, keep it under control. This button was missing, but I had a quick look, and these buttons are actually from a Nintendo Switch Joy-Con, and it's the same shoulder buttons that we can use. So we get a piece of copper tape, because again, we get it to position. And then same again, plenty of flux, plenty of solder, and then we flood it. Get it nice and positioned to make it nice and secure, ready for the new button to be mounted to. And then we do the same on the other side too. Plenty of flux, plenty of solder. And again we clean it up before we get the button to mount. So same again, get it into position, make sure it's sitting nice and flush. Add some flux and then add plenty of solder onto the side, making sure that it's nice and solid. So that's plenty and that's nice and secure. So a little bit of flux on the back, we're going to be needing to run a little jumper wire again. So the wire goes from the middle to the pad just underneath. I just give it a quick check, make sure it's not loose. And then when it's secure, we'll cut the excess off. And then this is the same as the other side, so we just need to add a little flux to this leg on the side, just so it makes a connection to the remaining part of the pad that was nearly almost totally ripped off. So two connections have been made, nice and secure, and then give it a good clean. So kick once over, we can see this side's nice and secure, and then we go across and the other side's nice and secure, just needs a little clean. So almost ready to put back together, but I noticed that there is a broken screw that someone had kind of ripped out. So I've just got some snips and I'm just sort of grabbing it nice and tight and then twisting away just to try and screw it out as best I can. Thankfully it is workable, it is a doable job, it's just a little bit time consuming. So just keep grabbing it, twisting it, let go until you work it all the way out. And then the broken bit of the top of the shell, all I'm doing is putting a little tiny bit of super glue into the broken section, and then I'm just going to position it so it forces it to stay closed and leave it like that for a couple of hours to dry solid. So people who watched previous videos will know that I've been on the hunt for a decent 2DS XL touchscreen for my own 2DS. All the aftermarket ones just aren't as responsive, so as I'm not intending to keep this 2DS, I'm going to do the sneaky thing of taking out the totally working, totally functional touchscreen, and I'm going to put it in my own 2DS XL and then put a working but not as good touchscreen in the white one. So just a quick swap over, and now I've got a nice 2DS XL, which is all boxed, etc., ready for me never to use. So back to the repaired one. So the motherboard's back in, I've made all the connections, put the battery back on, I'll pop the SD card in, and then we'll turn it on to make sure it's working. So because it's custom firmware, you just need to go past this little option, and then we start up, and then it's all good. So we can check the shoulder buttons. So the L and R shoulder buttons pressed together will activate the camera. So if I press 1, press the R button, you can see it's highlighting that the R is pressed, and I press the L, it's also highlighting the L. So both L and R buttons have now been repaired. So the volume slider is missing. I have ordered one from AliExpress, less than £1, but for the sake of the video I'll just pop the back on, and then I'll fit that at a later date. So the ribbon cable goes in, just connect it, and then just gently get some tweezers and insert these connections on the side. These are the speaker connections, so one on either side. No volume slider to connect up, so we'll just leave that for now, and then you just click it all back in, click it around, and if everything's in place as it should all click in nice and easy. So I probably should have done this before, but I noticed it's a little bit dirty, so a little bit of isopropyl around the analog stick, and then a little bit over the screen as well, but you don't want to be putting much on there because it can seep through and damage the screen. A little bit on the side, and then what we'll do is we'll pop the SD card back in, and then we'll start up, make sure it's all still going again. And yeah, we're still working, which is a good sign. So as you can see, the touchscreen isn't as sensitive as an original one, but it's still okay. Just have to press a little bit harder. I'm still on the hunt for a decent replacement touchscreen for a 2DS XL. Now we just pop a card in to make sure that the game card actually works and it reads games. So I haven't got any 2DS XL games, but this R4 card works and it'll do the job just the same. And that's it, repair complete. So as I said, £50 for a 2DS XL is really cheap. You're normally looking at £80 plus. This one was a really easy repair because there was no real issue with the console itself. It's just got custom firmware on it, so it needed a little bit of nous to apply an SD card to get it going. Obviously there was damage to the shoulder buttons, but they were nice and easily fixed. Really helps if you've got a decent microscope to do the job. So thanks very much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe.